the portion of this where I'm going to go over what was inside all those decks you just saw opened rabbit speed. I say rabbit speed because that's the button I clicked to make the video go fast in my editing software. So there's one more display you did not see there that I ended up opening after the fact, and it yielded one more deck that was worthwhile taking a look at. But before we get into it, let me just give you the house breakdown. So out of the 132, sorry, I got something in my throat. My apologies. I have a sip of my coffee. Yeah, that is a giant mug, by the way. If you're wondering why it took up most of my face, it's because it is a giant mug. So there was 57 decks out of 130 that had Mars, 56 that were Brobnar, 55 that were Logos, 60 that were Sanctum, 57 that were Shadows, and 60 that were Disc, with Untamed bringing up the rear with 51. To be honest, I think I've come to realize that I dislike Untamed the most out of the AOA suite. I'm not a huge fan of it due to the extreme lack of Ember control. Even though Logos has very little Ember control, it does have the Brig factor and the ability to cycle through your deck faster, which kind of knocks it up a peg or two in my opinion. So now let's do the Sas breakdown and then I'm going to go over a few decks that I really enjoyed from this mix. And what that is decks that were 70 Sas or above. Actually, you know what, before I get into this, I just want to acknowledge Vault Boy and the fact that he is cringing so hard right now that I am breaking down AOA decks in terms of their Sas distribution. He does not believe in the Sas ratings for AOA, and he is the champion of the AOA sleeper concept. So I think I'm going to want him to look through this collection and tell me the sleeper CCs. But that being said, decks that were 70 Sas plus, there's 12 out of 132. Between 60 and 69, there were 58 decks. And then 59 and below, there were 62. Huge. So decks that had expected Ember that were 20 or above was 30. Decks that had, and that's this stat right here. Sorry, this one, expected Ember. This number right over here, that's 20 on this one. So there was ones that had 20, there was 30, but 25 or above, there was only 8. Ones that had Ember control that was 10 plus was 22. And out of those 22, only 7 of those decks did not contain Shadows. And then for speed stat, there was 22 decks that had a 10 or above on the speed stat, which is this one right here. The A stat was this one right here, the 5. 14 on this one, okay? So those are the stats for the decks. I'm definitely going to be playing some of these decks on streams and whatnot. Maybe not this week, but probably actually. I already started jamming a couple with my friend. This deck here that I'm showing you, the top deck, I've been playing. It is, there's no way to put it. It's amazing. It is a deck and a half. So it's got the ZYX suite, which is my trademark. But this deck really is, like, if I'm gonna be honest, this deck is a freaking Gangernaut deck. There's a double drummer, double Gangernaut. You get it out almost every time, and the consistency is wild. I sometimes don't even play them all out. I just go 2 at a time, go to town, and then if they deal with it, I put 2 more. It's really amazing. And then it's got War Chest, which is honestly, if they do happen to put a board to block your Drummernaut, hello, you got a War Chest. It is ridiculous. And then you have Coward's End, which is actually also really good to going right into a Drummernaut combo. So it is just, yeah, this deck slaps. There's no other way to put it. It cycles well. You get to burst through here. The weirdest thing about this deck is that Shadows feels like you don't want to play shadows. It's irrelevant, and it almost like kind of clogs your hand. It's the weirdest thing. I actually don't want to get my shadows cards. I'm looking just at the Logos and Brobnar. The deck is amazing. The next highest deck is this one here. Triple Miasma with a Too Much to Protect. I mean, yeah, that's right there. That alone makes you go hello. And then you got the double Nature's Call Key Charge with a Dusk Witch and all that stuff. This deck is just fun as well. I haven't played this one as much, but it is good. You also have, like, I mean, Binate Rupture into Helper Bot into Miasma to set up a Too Much to Protect. Like, there's just cool stuff in here. Or you even could Binate Rupture Helper Bot into a Key Charge. Like, there's so many things. Or even Binate Rupture into a Too Much. There's just, like, ways this deck can do amazing stuff. Like, I'm really excited to test this one more. This is the newest one that came into the collection when I opened that last display. I love the stats on this one. Speed isn't great, but you have the Glim Call here. You have their Everywhere, so that's kind of nice. And then you have this one. I mean, it's cool, but I'm not super stoked on it. I need to spend a little more time with it. It looks good, but I didn't feel like it was amazing. And then next up, we have this deck, which I don't think I've played yet, but I am excited to play. So I don't have anything to say about this one just yet. I haven't quite gone into it, but I think it looks pretty cool. And then we got a Mars. Here's one of the higher decks that don't have shadows or logos, which is really cool. It's got the double Tesmal, the Hypno Beam, Key Abduction, double Eye of Judgment, I think is kind of neat. Kind of neat, actually. Very neat. And what else we got here? An Epic Quest deck, which I'm interested to know if this could actually work. You got the double Exhume to play in, a double Grey Rider, triple Abad, and then you have Maruk. So you got 4 knights in there, which is not half bad. What else we got here? And then here is yeah, this one I'm not going to go into this one. I'm going to kind of stop here at that. Oh wait, I forgot about this one. There is a triple Ronnie, triple Lights Out, triple Fuzel. Like, this deck looks cool. Triple Rusnar, the Trips deck. Kind of digging this one. I want to test this one out. I'm pretty stoked for it. Now I want to go into some other things about this. Sorry, I have something in my, I'm like choked on something and I just can't quite catch my my voice, so to speak. So I want to search for the obvious thing you're all are wondering. Blake, where's the Genka? Yeah, so there was no Genka. Long short of it, opened 132 decks, no Genka. But there was Martian Generosity. Just so you know the rarity of Martian Generosity, I opened 132 decks and got 2 decks that contained Martian Generosity, and both those decks do not have a good SAS rating. 54 here, 53 here, with like the most abysmal Emperor control. They actually the exact same houses, which is kind of weird. Double Tesmal in this one with a Pit Lord and Hysteria, which I kind of like. I feel like, and Triple Streak. I feel like this one could be good. I'm excited to test this one out. You got the Mars first, Martian Generosity. Like, I really am not quite sure how this deck would play, but I know the Martian Generosity to fill your hand with some of the other cards would be really nice. Like, getting to get your Pit Lord combo out here, I feel would be really, really strong. Like, for example, the Hysteria 3 Fates Pit Lord combo is what I'm calling it. So you essentially can play Pit Lord, Hysteria, return it to your hand, play it again, 3 Fates it, and then play everything else out. Seems really strong. I mean, I'm not opposed to even getting the board in a sense where I go like Pit Lord, Tesmal on each side, streaks across as well. So you get the 2, not the 3, because obviously 1 will be on a flank unless you get Gub in the mix. And then you kind of just leave that there and you want to call it over and over again. Maybe worthwhile saving a 3 Fates if you're going to go that route and stick into Dis. So that way you have an out. But the ability to basically Tesmal, do a Tesmal lock and have Pit Lord, so you're getting 3 Ember potentially. If the streaks survive even more, it could be really good. So this is the one that I'm actually the most kind of like, let's see where this goes and test it out. So I'm excited to try this one. This one here, I mean, it does have the Drummer Knot combo. it does, like, this one is not as exciting, but I feel like the double Mars first and the Hypno Beam could be cool. I don't know. This one I'm not as excited for, just straight up. This one is not as exciting for me. This one here, Norbert Rocket, is the one that I'm really excited for. Next up, standout things here is the proc decks. Let's see what proclamation decks we have in here. I got 4 of them. Highest one at 66, and it looks pretty good. Like, honestly, this is a great proc deck as far as I'm concerned. You have great board control, great Ember control. It's really balanced in stats, so I'm excited for it. What I'm liking is the double Gauntlet of Command here, and also just everything here. The double Boutrum, Grey Rider, all this stuff is really nice for setting up some stuff. Double Ronnie, you're never mad at. With a Life for Life, the Merkins, like, there's just cool. This deck looks cool. Like, I'm very excited to play this. Lord R. Lee. I mean, double Cutthroat Research, Interdimensional Graph, Titan Librarian, and 2 Mechanics. You got the triple Groke, double Bramo. I'm liking a lot of the, what's the word I'm looking for here? The doubles. The doubles, the triples, all those sort of things that are existing within the decks is really cool. The double Joya with double Chell is really nice. And then you have a Spirit's Way, which is basically says, hey, Proclamation is going to make you go bye-bye. I like that there's a 2 Gauntlets of Commands with a triple Groke, and you have Blood of Titans. That's really nice. Stalionat Chasseur de Haute-Greg. So this one here, double Hadros Wall with the proc is pretty cool. Just a lot of ways to beef things up here. What is Gromid again? I can't remember. You cannot play creatures. Yeah, I don't know about this. A lot of cool stuff here. I'm kind of liking this one. Not as much as the other ones, but it's still cool. And then we bring up 3 with this one. Otto Flinke, the Excited. Another Pit Lord deck with Soulkeeper. The way I would rock this actually is I would put the Soulkeeper on my opponent's creatures with Pit Lord, and then fight into it with Pit Lord potentially to get rid of Pit Lord and get myself out of that lock if that's a thing that exists. I mean, it has a proliferator with double Mars, needs Ember, and a few things to do stuff there. Like, you got Smites, another Joya. It's great. This one's cool as well, but it's got low Ember control, so I think it's going to be a board-based situation. I think the one at the top is the most exciting. Just has a really nice array of things here. And this one I'm also not disappointed to test out. From here, we're going to go into there's the Drummernaut aspect. So we go Drummernaut, the Gangernaut, sorry, I meant to say. Gang, let's see what we got here. 10 decks with Drummernaut. So we got obviously the one I already told you about. We have Gaspard. Did I play this one? The triple Darna is really cool with the Nature's Call. So there's ways I think you could really abuse this. One, if you play the Darnas over and over again, burst, is really nice. For some reason, when I'm seeing Darna, I'm thinking of Harmonia, and that's why I thought Nature's Call, but actually it's still great because you can full moon Nature's Call Darna with your damaged creatures. Is there a way to damage your own creatures, though, is the question? Yes, there is. It's called a Flamethrower. So the Flamethrower Darna combo is real nice here, like real nice. And then I'm also enjoying the fact there's a double drummer, double ganger here with 2 Lollips. We got the Grump Buggy, which I think actually plays because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Justin Brobnar. Then 8, 9 if you pull that off. And that's that. You got 9, but 9 is a good number for Grump Buggy as far as I'm concerned. So I like that one. We talked about Rita already as being a cool deck. It's got a War Chest Drummernaut, which I'm a big fan of. Especially with the ability to go Cyber Gigantic Rig and Blood of Titans for that matter onto your Drummernaut, yep, to keep the Ganger going. And then Double Full Moon. I think I played this one. It's fun. I like a lot of things in this deck. You can even set up a Grey Rider play here. Like, it is chef's kiss. Great Ember Burst. The control is a little bit lacking. What is it showing here? Abad, Forge, yeah, Forge Master doesn't really count. Baron and Surmero, so not the greatest, but this deck feels offensive to me. So you push the tempo, see what's going on. And then here you get a double Grunt Buggy deck with a double Ganger Drummernaut, which is pretty cool. Triple Unlock Gateway. I mean, pretty neato here. I'm a big fan of this one. And then rounding off here, we got a couple others that are like a Routine Job double Ronnie with too much to protect. Not the worst thing you could have. And then we got some more here. I like these ones. This one's got a Time Traveler, which is fun. This one's again double Ganger Drummernaut, like pretty cool. I'm very stoked with, and this was a double Drummer Ganger with a Might Makes Right, and some big creatures here. So it's pretty cool. I'm kind of a fan of the way this combo came out in my deck, so I'm pretty happy about that one. And lastly, let's just do the Brig. So Binate Rupture and Graft. There was a Heart of the Forest deck, but let's not talk about that. I like this one here because it has Binate Rupture, Interdimensional Graft with Redacted. Is pretty slick. Looks cool. Like, this deck looks pretty cool to me. Not amazing, but cool. And then we got this one here, which just has some good stuff in it. Triple Binate Rupture, Interdimensional Graft, the Viking deck, yeah, and a Charette there. So I'm kind of stoked about this one. I played this one a little bit. It's pretty cool. So I'm stoked about this one. So you also have the Grunt Buggy play. So there's some things. So this one's pretty neat. I don't want to go too much into this, but needless to say that this does not yield like Worlds Collide does. After all this, Worlds Collide, you're going to get the best bang for your buck if you're going on SAS ratings in terms of opening a bulk of decks. What you get on the other end, that is where you're going to see it. So if you're opening the AOA, know that you're going to have stuff that's going to fall in between. You're going to have to put in more work actually analyzing the decks and playing them outside of what SAS is going to show you to find the true decks that could be really fantastic. Where Worlds Collide is going to give you a better representation by what mainly SAS is saying. So be prepared to open a lot of AOA to find those really good decks, especially if you're looking for Genka. It is a very rare combo, and there's a reason why they're so sought after as a result. And yeah, long and short, I love doing this. I'm for sure will not end up playing all 132 of these. I literally have a separate DOK account just for these decks because of that, and then ones that I really like, I'll port over into my main account. But I got some stuff to go through and figure out. But I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this process. I love looking at the AOA decks. They have really interesting things that can be picked out and found. And as I played them so far, they're yielding some really interesting things. So I'm excited to keep testing and keep seeing what exists within these. Really neat, really cool experiment. I mean, opening that many decks alone was just a fun thing. I've never done that before. So I appreciate it. Hope you all enjoyed all this. And give me your feedback on this. And be sure to tune into my streams where we will get to dissect some of these decks further and see the cool stuff that exists. And as always, folks, may your Ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.